Welcome to the Growth Bridge. I'm your host, Ivo-Castillo, here in Miami. And this podcast is for entrepreneurs and leaders with a strong tie in Latin America who want to understand how Anglo founders think about growth, leadership, marketing, and decision making, and how to apply their mindset in your own business. Today, I'm excited to have Richard Carey. He's the founder of RCDM Studio. How are you, Richard?
Oh, it's a great day, and I'm glad to join you.
Thank you so much. Richard, first question. Tell us a little bit about your background.
My background is diverse. I call myself an original digital native. I've been using computers since I had some guys build one for me for a project that I was doing. I began my career as a producer-director in film and television, had some successes, filmed one movie in Guayaquil in Ecuador.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was great, but it's a crazy business. The entertainment business, a lot of fun. I was good at it, but yeah, it's not a good way to make a living. I wanted something more stable. I jumped on board e-commerce when it first came to market, or when e-commerce started to become a thing. My first 3 e-commerce sites are still online, making money for their owners. I sure wish I had points in each of them at this point, but then I wouldn't be talking to you. I'd be sitting on a beach somewhere. So I've worked my way from film and television into basic websites, e-commerce, large-scale enterprise e-commerce systems. From there, I moved into educational technology. I became a thought leader in using games for learning, games-based learning, serious games, it's sometimes called. And for the past 15 or 20 years, I've run my own shop, RCDM Studio.
And tell us, what do you enjoy most about the work you do?
The thing that I enjoy most is working with new people, new ideas. Everything that I do, I have to learn about a business. Sometimes it's a sector I've never been involved in. I like solving problems. I'm a systems thinker, so I like figuring out how to organize data flows, human processes, learning, all of that stuff. So that's the most pleasurable part of my work.
And tell us, studio, what is the value that brings? What is the main service that you bring to the table?
We're involved in and available for the entire digital food chain, from concept to design to development, deployment, SEO, SEM, search marketing, and so forth. Of course, we use AI extensively in that, but it's AI with a human interface, right? So we don't just blindly deploy AI tools, but we use them in a way to leverage our expertise. So customers come to us, clients come to us because they want to make more money. They want more customers. They want more leads. They sell them to people just need a website. Everybody has a website today, and you can go to GoDaddy or Squarespace or Wix and build a website. But they want a website that works for them. They want a marketing system. You know, as the business of digital media has evolved, so too is our work, moving more and more into the marketing side of things, and using websites, for example, as the core of a marketing system.
I'm talking about marketing, that is our specialty, and we share together. What is the most business get wrong about marketing?
I think most small businesses, small to medium businesses, what they get wrong is you put up a website, you launch a social media channel for your business, and you're done. But it's not done. Many businesses that we encounter have all of those things, and they're not delivering leads. They're not delivering customers. They don't understand why. And they don't understand why, or the reason why, is that they're static. They're static objects. They're static data, but that doesn't move the meter anymore. And with GEO, generative engine optimization, or SEO, or AI SEO, some people call it, being a static site is no longer enough. You're not going to end up in the snippet, in the summary at the top of the page, unless you show real expertise, real depth of knowledge in your area, your specialty. So I think many companies feel like, well, we have a website, How come nobody's making appointments? Well, it takes some effort to drive traffic there to make it happen.
And in your experience, what separates a company that grows consistently from one that stays stuck in the industry of where they are?
I would say consistent, say staying on point, on
Hmm.
topic with messaging and branding. So when you the company speaks, when you drop posts or ads or emails, or you speak at an event, or you have a booth at a conference, keeping the branding all in sync and keeping the messaging all in sync. If you have, well, I have an incoming client. Okay, this is a company that works in the insurance industry.
Okay.
They have an AI-driven voice agent.
Okay.
They have a marketing service deployed specifically for insurance companies.
Hmm.
Uh, I think there's one other division as well. Anyways, the signature of the executives, their email signature, has three logos on it. The website has three logos on it. It's confusing. Are they this? Are they that? Are the other thing? I think consistency and clarity of message and brand is really important. I think that it's very hard. It's hard enough to get people's attention, and you want people to connect the dots between this visual and that idea. And every time they see one or the other, they match it back. And now you start to have persistence of memory. You start to have recognition. And it used to be that three impressions were enough to cause an action.
Yeah.
And today, with our media saturated, digital saturated, scrolling, I think it takes 7 or 9 or 10 or 12 impressions. And if those impressions are different, if they don't deliver the same message, the same value proposition, the same brand identity, then you're wasting the effort that it took to get those messages out there in the first place.
Correct.
Well, I don't know if it's correct, but that's my impression, and that's my
Oh,
experience.
I'm completely agree with you. We are intoxicated,
We're intoxicated with too much information.
and catch the eye of the user is harder and harder.
Yes, it is.
And it's harder our generation. Imagine the C generation. That is the other day. Let me give a context. My son is 14 and he is in TikTok. In TikTok, the videos in average are 30 seconds, 60 seconds at the most. He even in 30 seconds, he push the top of the screen to make it faster. And I say, Luca, it's 30 seconds. You don't have 30 seconds for at least watch the whole video? No, no, Dad. I don't have time. Just my God, look at that. It's just amazing how fast and dopamine and early gratification in.
It is very hard. It's very hard to stop. It's very hard not to wake up in the morning, reach for the phone, get the headlines, check the email, check overnight messages, check social, check your sales stats on Google AdWords. It's so hard to just leave it there. I mean, I've meditated for years. I find it one of the most valuable practices that I do, but it's getting harder and harder and harder to make that time. The
Yes.
right time is when I get up in the morning. But by the time I get up and I make a cup of tea or coffee, I've already scrolled through hundreds of little bits of information, and my mind is already addled. It's already scrambled a little bit. If I sit down to meditate, very difficult.
Yeah, I think the same. Can you tell us, or can you walk through how is a typical project to you? How it works from the first contacts to delivery?
Well, there's so many different kinds of projects and different sizes of projects that there's naturally some variation. But there's also there's also a lot that's in common, whether it's $1,000 consulting or $100,000 e-commerce site or $1 million application or video game. They all begin by gaining trust and commonality with your client slash partner, defining the scope of work that's going to be done, signing an agreement that wraps that scope of work in a legal framework, payments, and so on. Is it going to be automatic draft? Are you going to build them? On what cadence? So those are universals, small, medium, large. Then you begin a process of discovery that really begins earlier in the sales cycle, where you're learning about their needs, their wants, their needs, where the pain points are. But you have to go deeper, of course, into really understanding what their needs and their pain points are. So discovery comes next. Then comes ideation. What are you going to do about it? Is it redesigning a website? Is it building an email funnel, email campaign, and a landing page funnel for new leads? Is it a game? Is it whatever it is? There's some ideation, then comes design, and then comes development and building, testing, deployment. It's pretty universal. Obviously, if it's a brief consulting engagement for a few hours or a few days, it's a lot simpler. If it's a piece of software that integrates with back-end systems, then that whole process is more complicated and more lengthy.
And, some common points that I have found with other podcast interviewers that have similar business, there is a thing in the relationship with a client that is up and downs. And I tell you that because I used to be a marketing director for an agency, and the relation with clients is not as never is smooth. Never is like, hey, we are friends now and we are best friends forever, right? Because as a professional, we intend to sell not what they want, but what they need. And they hire us for that.
And sometimes you have to deliver uncomfortable truths.
Yes.
And that's really doing the client a favor, is doing yourself a favor too. There's no point in pursuing a project that's just going to burn the client's money, but isn't going to deliver the results that they're expecting. And sometimes you have to say that up front. This is hopefully with an alternative. This isn't going to work, but we think this will. Can we change our yeah.
And how do you manage that? What kind of advice can you give us to manage that kind of relationships?
Be nice, be compassionate.
Okay.
Be proactive, be clear. Don't let misunderstandings linger. If you sense that there's a misunderstanding, address it right away. Don't let it sit there. Sometimes that's hard to do. But I think that's really important, because if you let the disconnect sit there and ignore it and you go, okay, well, I hope that'll go away. Probably it won't. Probably it'll come back. It'll come back bigger than ever at some point. Whether it's a trust issue, whether it's a communications breakdown, whatever it is. So I think you have to address issues as they come up, but in the context of being a good person, being there to help them, thinking of their pain, not your wallet. Even though, of course, you're thinking about your wallet or you're thinking about your company's bottom line, but put your attention on what you can do for them and succeed at that, and they'll become a loyal customer.
Tell us, how do you currently get in most of your clients?
Man, if I understood that, if I knew what really was going to bring my next client, I hope it's somebody watching this podcast. I have written new business.
I hope so too.
For all of us, right? I have written new business from referrals, of course. Hey, you should talk to Richard. I think he can help you with a problem. That's always good. I've had incoming cold emails, not result of a campaign, but just an email picking up a phrase on my website that says free consultation. And somebody will write me and say, do you really do free consultations? Well, I'll talk to almost anybody about almost anything for a half an hour to understand if there's a there. I've seldom been bothered by people who are completely inappropriate. So business has come from cold calls, cold emails, cold calls. I was sitting in a conference in Orlando a few years ago. I got a message on my cell phone. I glanced at it, or I got a call. I glanced at it, said send to voicemail. At the break, I got up, I listened to it. It was a rapidly growing company in Los Angeles with a new airplane, revolutionary airplane in many ways, that was aimed at the sport consumer market. And they wanted a video game to teach their prospects, to entice their prospects into the joy of flying. What a great project. Cold email, cold phone call. Somebody had, sent one of their minions off to find somebody with my background in tech, in games, in education, in entertainment. And I have all of those things. And they said, that's who we need. And they brought me in and, you know, went from there. Other time, another time I had a gentleman call, asked for a free consultation, no problem. He said, that was really good. I learned a lot talking to you. Can I take you out to lunch? Second free consultation, but this time I got a meal out of it. That turned into a 7-figure project in Mexico that kept me busy for a couple of years. Totally random. Totally random. Somebody who just saw my on my website, saw the things that I do, and it went from there. Other times I've used email threads, as many of us do, email sequences, five message, 9 message sequences. I got an email from someone who had received that thread, received the last thread, the last message in that sequence, forwarded it to someone else in their company and said, Priscilla, this guy, I looked him up on the internet. I got one of his emails. It looks like he's just who you're looking for, in their case, a complete redo of their web presence. It was a very large website. It was a $50,000-ish project. When he sent the message to his colleague, he copied me. I saw that message come in. I glanced at it. It was a something, one of the messages that I had sent. I read it. I realized I was being copied on it. Got on the phone. All of those things have worked. You have to be in as many places as possible: LinkedIn, organic search, paid search, networking events, shaking hands, giving out business cards, or more likely these days, exchanging QR codes.
Yes.
One of the biggest pleasures, and that is staying on top of new technologies as they emerge. I often say the most important thing I learned in school was how to learn. I learned how to be an autodidact. I learned how to be curious and go find the information that I need, go find the mentor that I need. So that's both the biggest challenge is staying on top of things. I still have my first ChatGPT session from what was it, 4 years ago, when that tool first became available, and I was astounded. Working astounding. As far as mistakes that I've made, probably not following my own advice that I've been dispensing here freely, which is to be everywhere, which is to have a consistent message, consistent brand identity, and to work it, to get it out there. So I would do better if I was a better marketer of myself. But like they say, a cobbler's children always go barefoot,
Yeah.
or a carpenter's home is never finished.
Yes. Yes. That's happened with a lot of marketers. I suffer that myself. Taking these two last questions, and this is important. And
I think AI is a game changer. I think it's incredible leverage. It doesn't matter where in the corporate business food chain you are. So whether it's researching reports, whether it's writing product requirements documents, creating wireframes, illustrations, emails, email threads, and now that we have some agentic coding tools that we can push them off in a direction and they go and write code. You can create applications to help run your business better and cheaper than maybe what you're already paying for. Yesterday, I got a tour of the work of a colleague of mine. He has a business that sells computers and sells refurbished computers, particularly. He buys from large companies. They have a project. They buy 20 computers. They set them up. People use them. Instead of returning them to inventory, they remainder them to him. They're almost brand new. So there are a lot of moving parts. Everything that comes in the door has to be examined. Hard disks have to be erased. They're photographed so you see exactly the item that you're buying on his online catalog. The price has to be researched. He uses eBay, so he scrapes eBay for prices for the same thing and then undercuts, comes in lower. All of those things now, including his inventory, the employees' timesheets, how much time they spend on which part of that process, is all an application that he wrote in Claude Code. Previously, he was using several tools to connect the dots to pass data from one application to another. They didn't work all that great. They worked, but they weren't great. Some of them had monthly or annual subscription costs. He's gotten rid of all of that with his own ingenuity and a couple of weeks of time over the year to automate the systems that run his business. I have a client that, here's a mistake you don't want to make. They have 3 CRMs. They have one CRM for website visitors. They have one CRM that they put random phone calls in. They have one CRM for customers, different systems not talking to each other. Perfect opportunity to systematize that so that all of the data lives in one database, one reality, whether they're a prospect, whether they're a customer, whether they're an old customer or a lost prospect that you might remarket to. So hopefully I will show them the light and we'll have the opportunity to create an application custom to them. That's an application for AI. It's almost limitless. It's moving faster. You think it's moving faster? You think it's moving fast? It's moving faster than that.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing you can do is dedicate one afternoon a week, weekday, weekend, whatever it is, and just play. Find a couple of sources where new products are talked about. If it sounds like something that might have value, download a copy, set up an account. Most of them have a free account that you can start with, or many do certainly, or a low cost of entry, and play with them, get to know them. And you'll still be behind the 8 ball because there's still going to be applications that come to market that don't hit your radar. But if you do that, you'll be ready to take advantage of it.
Correct. One last question. What is your mindset to handle your business?
Some combination of curiosity, fear, and diligence. Curiosity to find new clients, get to know them, learn about a new business. Diligence to bring them through the sales process. Fear that they'll go away or that I won't be able to close. So you're always looking to add to your pipeline. I love the development process, getting involved in a new opportunity, and of course doing the work. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a mindset, but those are the emotions that come up every day. What can I do to help this person, this company? What is this company about? What is this product about? What does it do? So there's that part. How can I engage them and bring them along? And oh my God, I might not close. I might not close the next one. So I think a little healthy concern is probably good for business.
Thank you so much, Richard.
My pleasure.
Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching this episode. See you next time.
Thank you. Be well. Thank you.